Namaste and a very warm welcome. My name is Pritesh Desai and I am the Secretary of the Toronto chapter of Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. In today's complex lifestyles, we all need some sort of guidance, socio-economic support system to guide us. We all learn from our experiences, some from our own lives and some from our experiences from our visionary leaders. Similarly, we also get motivated through lives of and journeys of our seniors and leaders. Today's session is the first of its kind in the history of the Toronto chapter of Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, where we will bring to you stories, journeys and leadership lessons straight from not one, not two, but eight of our chairpersons who are the torch bearers of our beloved profession. First time in our history, we have 8 chairpersons of the Toronto chapter to take us through their stories and guide us and inspire us. Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me immense pleasure to bring to you Mr. Himanshu Shah, Mr. Amit Goyal, Mr. Baljit Kaliravna, Mr. Moin Ahmed, Dr. Raj Mantra, Mr. Sandeep Patkar, Mr. Deep Mehta, and finally our current chair, the very dynamic Mr. Vivek Kapoor. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our first guest, our very own founding chair, Mr. Himanshu Shah. And we have Mr. Kim Bolton, President and CEO of Black Swan Dexter, to introduce Mr. Himanshu.
My name is Kim Bolton. I'm the President and Portfolio Manager for a Canadian investment fund company. And Himanshu Shah is my Chief Financial Officer. I've had the great privilege of knowing Himanshu Shah for over a decade, and it is with great pleasure that I introduce him to you. In all my interactions with Himanshu, I have consistently found him to be a person of utmost integrity, honesty, and unwavering dedication. Himanshu's commitment to his work is truly remarkable. He is not one to shy away from putting in the hard work and going the extra mile to ensure the best outcomes for his clients. Whether it is meticulously analyzing financial processes, devising strategic plans, or guiding organizations through complex business challenges, Himanshu consistently demonstrates his strong work ethic and determination to deliver excellence. What sets Himanshu apart is his unwavering commitment to integrity. He holds this virtue in high regard and consistently upholds the highest ethical standards in everything he does. His decisions and recommendations are guided by a strong moral compass, and he never compromises on doing what is right, even in the face of challenges or difficult circumstances. Himanshu's integrity is not merely a professional attribute, but an integral part of his character that shines through in all aspects of his life. Beyond his professional achievements, Himanshu is a person of great personal integrity. He treats others with respect, kindness, and fairness, fostering a positive and collaborative work environment. His genuine concern for the well-being and success of others is evident in his willingness to mentor and support colleagues and peers. He consistently provides opportunities to new immigrants and chartered accountants from India in his firm. In conclusion, it is my sincere belief that Himanshu Shah embodies the qualities of an exceptional professional and an exemplary human being. His honesty, hard work, and unwavering commitment to integrity make him a trusted advisor and a valuable asset to any organization or individual seeking his expertise. I'm honored to have the opportunity to know and work alongside Himanshu, and I have no doubt that he will continue to inspire and make a positive impact in all of his future endeavors.
Thank you, Kim, for the wonderful introduction of Himanshu. Himanshu, now moving on to you. Can you please share your personal journey and enlighten us? Over to you, Himanshu.
Thank you, Ritesh. Thank you, Kim, for the introduction. I grew up in India and moved to Canada in 1989. That was the start of the first recession at that time, and life here at that time was extremely difficult. First of all, there was no recognition of our profession, no recognition of our experience, and everywhere I went, oh, you come from India? Oh, you have no Canadian experience. Thank you very much. You speak good English, but we don't have any jobs for you. That is how it all started. It took me 6 months to get my first job out here, and since then it's been a history. It's been a good journey for me. I have no complaints. I started my career at CRBC in internal audit. From there on, I moved into Deloitte, and for the past 17 years, I've been on my own, working my own independent accounting consulting services.
Thank you, Himanshu, for your wonderful story and journey. I'm sure we would really learn much further from your further insights during the session. Let me bring to you our second guest, Mr. Moin Ahmed. To introduce Moin, we have Mr. Matt Rajnath, CFO of Tangerine Bank.
Hi there, my name is Matthew Rajnath. I currently serve as the CFO of Tangerine, Canada's largest digital bank and the official bank of the Raptors. Today I have the honor of introducing Moin Ahmed. Moin joined the Tangerine finance team back in 2022, and since then he's played a pivotal role in making the team stronger, more efficient, and more importantly, challenging the status quo. Moin brings a wealth of experience with him, having worked over 20 years across the financial services industry at Scotiabank, Deloitte, E&Y, and now Tangerine. He's a terrific people leader. He definitely inspires those around him, and his team has a tremendous amount of respect for him. With that, I'll hand it back over and welcome Moin.
Thank you, Matt, for introducing Moin. I'll now move to Moin. Can you please share your personal journey and share your insights?
Thank you, Ritesh, and thank you for the opportunity to share my insights when I first came to Canada and started my career here. I passed my CA in 1998. Fortunately, I cleared both the groups in one shot. It was a great achievement at that time, and I thought the floodgates of opportunities opened. I traveled to Muscat, Oman, and then I went to Saudi. In 2002, I came to Canada. And at that time, people said, hedge your decision, land and go back, get a Canadian citizenship. Me and my wife, we said, no, we are two professionals, we'll just land, figure it out. And when we came here, Enron happened, WorldCom happened, Arthur Andersen went out of business, 9/11 happened. So the market turned out to be extremely bad, and I didn't get a job for three months. And we were trying to figure out what to do. When we came to Canada, we stayed in a motel. We didn't know anyone. So that's how we came to Canada, just blind. And eventually everything works out. You need to be positive. You need to stop associating with negative people. There's a lot of negativity. That's one thing we stopped doing. We started networking, which is very important. There was a lot of self-help, but you have to help yourself to go and seek it. There was nothing like the Toronto chapter, which is today, so we will share more insights as we move along. In 3 months, I got a job in a very small accounting firm. I got a list of practicing accountants from CICA's website, and I started going cold calling and sending emails. It didn't work. I went into my network, tapped into the network, found a controller in Richmond Hill, went to his office, asked him to introduce to his accountant. That's how I got my first job. So networking, again, is very, very important. That's when I learned. After about a year, I got back into EY. I was in Ernst & Young in Saudis, but here, no one was giving any heed to my resume. But I got back in EY about a few years, then I moved to Deloitte. Very fortunate. That's where I met Himanshu and many other folks. And that's where the Toronto chapter was formed for the first time. Very excited to be part of the alumni group of the Chartered Accountants. Then I moved to Scotiabank in 2007. And it is 16 years now at the bank. Currently I work as a director, head of finance in Tangerine Bank. Very grateful for that opportunity. I do a lot of community service. I work with TRIAC, Toronto Regional Immigration Employment Council. I work with Dixie Bloor Mentoring Partnership, doing mentoring and helping people with the resumes and job search, and building the right mindset. With Scotiabank, I work with Ryerson University, mentoring students. at the chapter also, we did a lot of good work. I also was the board chair for federally and provincially funded organization called SAFS, which is Settlement Assistance Family Support Services. I was the board chair. I retired. Now, again, I'm part of another organization in the Durham region, doing some outreach and support activities. Happy to be back at the chapter and happy to be here. I'm very grateful for the opportunity and very grateful for the success and every opportunity I got.
Thank you, Moin, for your wonderful introduction and story. I'm sure as we progress further along in the program, we'll get to know more about you and more insights from you. Our next guest for today is Mr. Amit Goyal. To introduce Amit, we have Mr. Ratan Raliaram, partner at Deloitte. So, can I ask Ratan to please introduce Amit?
Welcome everyone. I am delighted to introduce a true professional, someone who is highly regarded as a seasoned senior executive and in an international career of over 25 years has held progressively senior positions in the financial services industry. Amit Goyal is the Chief Financial Officer at SBI Canada Bank, part of State Bank of India, the largest bank in India. As a member of the bank's executive team in Canada, Amit has significant responsibilities, including strategy, asset liability management, taxation, regulatory, and financial reporting to stakeholders in both Canada and India. He has also worked with other international banks, including Citco, Scotiabank, ICICI, and Deutsche Bank. Amit is one of the founders and past chair of the Toronto chapter of ICAI and serves on the board of many non-profit organizations such as the Canadian Helen Keller Centre, Indus Community Services, and the Canadian Hindu Chamber of Commerce. Amit is a chartered accountant from Canada, the US, and India, and thoroughly enjoys spending time with his wife and 2 children.
Thank you, Ratan, for introducing Amit. Amit, now moving on to you, can you please share your personal story and personal journey and walk us through that?
Thank you, Ritesh, for this wonderful opportunity, and thank you, Ratan, for warm welcome. I am very happy to be on this platform and share my journey with others. My journey has been quite interesting. I'm born in Uttar Pradesh and lived in 5 different states, learned different culture, different education, finally settled down in Delhi to complete my graduation and chartered accountancy. After that, I moved to Bombay as my professional career, joined Deutsche Bank and was there with them for 8-9 years, and then moved to Singapore for a couple of years before moving to Canada in 2002. After being there in so many cities and countries, Canada was definitely very exciting, but of course with a lot of challenges, with no family or no friends here. As my colleague mentioned, there was no chapter, there was no association where I could connect professionally. So I had to start from the scratch, but I could not be more proud than I am today. That experience that really helped me a lot in succeeding in my future career and future life. I got a job in ICICI Bank that was opening their offices in Canada for the first time. After that experience, I also went on and set up another bank, which was a subsidiary of Scotiabank called Dundee Bank of Canada. And believe it or not, after 2 stints with new banks, I got an opportunity to start and lead a new bank from Holland, Citco Bank. Those all 3 opportunities, one after another, has been wonderful, has given me a lot of tremendous experience and insight that I'm sure I'll be happy to share as we move on. Currently, I'm with State Bank of India, Canada for the last 10 years, joined as a CFO, being part of the senior executive team. And again, thank you for all the experiences and all the opportunities.
Thank you, Amit, for your wonderful insights. It's an interesting journey that you shared. You started from India, different regions in India, moved to various countries, and now to Canada. And now in Canada, you're working for an organization which has its roots in India. So I'm sure we'll learn such more interesting things from you. Our next guest is Mr. Baljit Kaliravna. To introduce Baljit, we have Mr. Amarjit Chopra, past president of ICAI.
Friends, what I'm going to do right now is probably one of the most difficult tasks I'm going to introduce to you Mr. Baljeet Kalvirana, who happens to be a very, very dear friend, and have known him since 1989 for that matter. And at that time he was only a student. I still remember when I used to go to Hisar as the chairman of the Northern India Regional Council. I met him at that particular point of time. And I found him to be very enthusiastic at that time, and today also I find him as enthusiastic, rather more enthusiastic today than what he was as a student even. He qualified as a chartered accountant in 1994 and then came down to Canada in 2000. Has worked there in various capacities, including as a president and presently as a vice president finance of a particular capital market firm. But to me, these official positions are not very, very important, frankly. What is more important is the nature, humility of a particular person. He is very humble, and above all, the best quality about this man is that whosoever comes from India, he wants to help him out or her out in either finding a job or finding a residence, or even at times goes out of the way to accommodate them for some time at his own residence. I think this is something which is unbelievable. This is something which not many of the human beings possess as a quality. I can only say that he and his wife have been doing a fabulous job so far as the members and non-members in the community are concerned. And I can wish them all the best. They have already moved forward in their life, moved ahead in their life, and have set up such a beautiful home now. I think which is a rare thing to be seen. That shows his class, that shows his attitude, that shows his progress in the life. I will only say that I wish him all the best. I'm sure that he's going to touch more and more of the heights. He has even headed the chapter. There's no doubt about it that whenever you talk to somebody about Baljeet Kalvirana, people start looking at you with some kind of an awe that you know Baljeet Kalvirana for that matter. And I think this is only because of one factor, that his attitude towards helping the people. And there can be there cannot be anything more noble than helping the people, particularly when they come from India or they come from any part of the world. So I can wish him all the best in his life, along with his wife and his son, and can pray to Almighty that he be bestowed upon the best of the health also in the years to come. Thank you very much.
Thank you, C. Amarjit Chopra, for introducing Baljeet. Baljeet, welcome to this episode.
Thank you, Ritesh, and thank you, Chopra sir. I have a very humble beginning. I born up in very small farmer family. I grown up in very joint big family, so the families are very close to my heart. Initial studies were in a village with up to grade 5 schools, and then from grade 6 to 10 I had to walk 6 kilometers one way every day. So mine was a little bit challenging as compared to other folks. From after grade 10, I went to school, graduation in university in city, did my Bachelor of Science and B.Ed. And in 1989, all of a sudden, some very good gentlemen come over to me, say, why can't you do the CA? I said, what is CA means? CA means Chartered Accountant. I didn't know what CA means at that time. So, but he explained to me that basically, important part is basically you don't need to go to the politicians to get a job, because you always need to go to politicians in India at the time. So I said, that's a good thing basically. So I did CA. I started my CA, and I was fortunate to finish my CA in 1994. And after finishing my CA, I had a challenge, but what can I do? I should do practice or I do my job. So I moved to Delhi, and without knowing anybody in Delhi, and started my own practice. It was exciting for me, it was challenging for me, but I said, if I can do CA, I can do anything in my life. And I set up my practice, and I was fortunate to get set up a good practice in area of accounting, taxation, corporate affairs, and Reserve Bank of India. And 2000, I moved with my wife and my son into Canada. without knowing that Canada has a cold weather. So I came in December without a jacket. And no, just like Mohan Bhai said, I moved to the hotel and without any connections. But I was fortunate in other angle basically is because in December I didn't know anybody. So good thing in Canada, if you don't know anybody in Canada, that's a fortunate for you because there's no ill advice. Only you focus on your thing, what you want to do, and you're going to find the people that you need it. Otherwise, they're going to introduce to the people will not be useful to you. So I was fortunate enough that. I got immediately I joined the tax course, and within a month and a half, I find out that there is a opening in accounting, small accounting firm. I called the gentleman and say, do you know how to cry in Hindi? He said, why? I said, I don't know how to cry in English. He said, come and talk, I'll talk to you. And immediately he gave me the job. Without any reference, without any connections, I got a job with small accounting firm, but that accounting firm I learned personal taxes, GST, PST at the time, and WSIBs, which helps me to move to my career to go to different industries, in the printing industries, construction industry. And my career has everything happened in the world bad, and this happened good to me. Because Sarbanes-Oxley Act came into 2002, 2003, I got a SOX consultant job. And that move fly to my careers. I was head of distribution company, Sharp Electronics, to set up the internal control of the company, then American Life, and then mining companies. And then, financial boom happened in 2008 or 9 or 10. I got job industry entry into financial sector at the time. And from there, I'm still working in the capital markets. I was fortunate to go to different opportunities, started from senior managers to controller. And then I become CFO and then president of the company. I enjoyed that title of the president for 4 years, worked with company. And after president, I set up my own small accounting firms, got BG. So now currently I'm working as vice president finance of one of the top boutique company. We are one of the top 3 boutique company in Canada, and side by side I have my small stuff also. So during this period of CFO and president, and we got involved with the chapter, meet with my all friends there at the time. I'm part of I think chapter of initial days, like not the founder member, but as initial days, and then become more active in 2015 when one of my friend sitting beside me asked me to apply for the directorship of the title. And I joined the chapter. I worked in different roles. It's president, it's vice chairman and chairman, and still working with the chapters. It's a small journey. It's a different interesting part. Thank you.
Thank you, Baljeet. Our next guest for today is Dr. Raj Mantra. To introduce Dr. Mantra, we have Ms. Ashita Mantra, daughter of Dr. Mantra.
In the words of the American author Robert Collier, success is the sum of small efforts, repeated day in and day out. And the individual that I'm introducing today has strived along this quote. He's been one of the most hardworking individuals I've known for nearly 19 years. Little by little, this individual has worked his way to become a successful accountant in 3 countries and has obtained a PhD in finance and financial management services. Now, this path wasn't easy, as failures did take a toll every now and then. However, he never thought of stepping down. He kept fighting and pushing for his success no matter what it took. Along with his career pathway, he became a husband and a father of 2 kids, which isn't always the easiest when trying to manage both personal and career components. However, he always made sure to have a balance between the 2. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not only introducing today a chartered accountant, but also my loving and strong papa, Dr. Rajinder Kumar Mantra.
Thank you, Ashita. Dr. Mantra, would you like to share some of your snippets of your journey and stories and inspire us?
Thank you, Ritesh. I really appreciate this opportunity given by the Toronto chapter for introducing myself and letting know about my history and my story. I was born, brought up in a small industrial town in Uttar Pradesh called Modinagar. our industrial town was full of chartered accountants, and my father was very inspired with them, and they want that one of his sons should be a chartered accountant. And that's what, I think I was in grade 4 then when my father decided that I had to be a chartered accountant. In any case, that was the history and the starting point. And then moving forward, I qualified in 1986, and then I joined the Modi Group, and then in 2000 I moved to Canada. And my colleague said, there was not a good opportunities that time here. They say that Canada has a full of opportunities, but opportunities were very rare, particularly for foreign trained people. So the same thing has happened here, having a hard time, hardship, but eventually get through. The opportunities were there, but they were hidden actually. And I had a proud moment, when I was first interviewed by a local chartered accountant, and when he said that, I don't have to ask you a question about accounting. You are an Indian chartered accountant. You know everything, and you can do the work. Though there was a hardship, about Canadian experience and all those things, but the guy gave me opportunity, and it proved to be very good. And later on, I will let you know what happened when I joined the chapter. And actually, chapter became very motivational, very inspiring, and where I'm today. And I think chapter played a vital role in that. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Mantra. Our next guest for today is Mr. Dweep Mehta. To introduce Dweep, we have Mr. Afzal Hussain, VP, Duka Credit Union.
Hi, my name's Afzal Hussain. I am the VP of Internal Audit here at Duka. Here to talk about Dweep a little. He has great attributes. He has great work ethics. Here, Dweep for the last 5 years has risen up the ranks from junior, senior, now into management. Being a visible minority, an Indian, it is important to network and branch out and go beyond just your day-to-day task. Dweep does that well. He has a lot of friends, a lot of contacts, and he does not shy away from spending the extra time in improving life and the culture here at Duka. I wish the success for Dweep, and if he continues this route, he will be on the executive path. So well done, Dweep.
Thank you, Afzal. Dweep, would you please like to share some of your insights and stories of your professional career?
Thank you, Ritesh, and thank you, Toronto chapter, for providing me this opportunity to be part of this wonderful panel. As regards my journey, I'm from Mumbai. I moved to Canada in 2015 with my wife Radhika and my son Nivan, who is 5 years now. I joined the Toronto chapter when I came in September 2015. I joined the chapter's activities in 2016 as a volunteer, to build my network, attended all the events. Then I got more involved. In 2017, I became a portfolio team member under the leadership of so many people here, and I'm thankful to everyone. Then I joined the board of directors in 2018 as the vice chair, and in 2019 I became the chair. So during my term, we made considerable changes. We brought in new programs. We introduced a new website, a new mobile app. We got the financial assistance program, a mentorship program, and a talent share program. As regards my professional journey, I'm a Bachelor of Commerce, Bachelor of Law graduate. I completed my CA in 2011, the Canadian CPA in 2016, and CIA in 2022. So when I came to Canada, I got my first job after 4 months of landing. First job was in PwC. The second job was thankful to Mr. Himanshu Shah. I got an opportunity to work with him for a few months, and then another contract job, and then finally in 2017 I got my first permanent job at Duka, and I'm working there as a manager of internal audit. Thank you.
Thank you, Dweep. Ladies and gentlemen, our next guest for today is our immediate past chair, Mr. Sandeep Patkar. To introduce Sandeep, we have Mr. Joseph Selvaraj, President and CEO, SBI Canada Bank.
Thank you, Ritesh. It is my honor and privilege to introduce Sandeep Patkar. Sandeep is a partner in KPMG. in the audit and accounting practice, dealing with financial services clients. Sandeep is a chartered accountant from India. He is a CPA from Colorado. He is a CA from Canada. He is also an FRM and a CFA. Sandeep is also an IFRS guru. He has implemented, he has helped many of the clients implement the new accounting standards. He was also involved in KPMG's publications globally. During his term as the chairman of ICAI Toronto, he took several initiatives like the Toronto Circles, the mentorship program, the Toastmasters program, and so on. He is actively involved in the Indo-Canada corridor, in both in the social circles and in the business circles. And above all, he's a great human being and a good friend. Thank you, Ritesh, for the opportunity to introduce Sandeep.
Thank you, Joseph. Sandeep, would you like to share some of your personal and professional journey?
Thank you, Ritesh. Hello, all our esteemed past chairs and the chapter for giving me this opportunity. My journey started, as with most of you, I became chartered accountant from India, but my CA journey itself started as a decision point came as I came out of school. The decision point was which stream I'm going to take. Is it commerce, science, or arts? My father is an engineer. My mom did arts vertigo. She was a principal in a school, and I definitely did not want to do either of the two. One of my uncle, he used to be in accounting practice at that time, and when I went to his office, or when I used to go to his office, all he was doing is he was giving his customers or clients vada pav, a vegetarian burger, and taking decent amount of money. So I thought that's a good profession, and it happened to be a commerce stream. So I decided to go with commerce. I completed my chartered accountancy in 2005. As I was working through my articleship, when I started, it was just me and my chartered accountant. But as I completed my articleship, it was like a team of 40 people, and I was leading about 20-25 of them. So as I completed, my chartered accountant asked me to become partner of his firm. At that point, I thought I needed to explore a bit more before I can take up such a responsible role. With that intent in mind, I explored opportunities, and knowing that IFRS was going to come to India, I was looking for IFRS exposure. Thankfully, a Middle East opportunity in the form of a job in BDO came to me. It was a public accounting role which I love to do. So I took it up. I went there. When I was in Muscat, Oman, in BDO, I did my US CPA, and as I was working through audits of various industries, whether it's hoteling industry, banking industry, explosives, natural gas, generation companies, I came to appreciate that I need to specialize in order to grow in a particular area. With that intent in mind, I again joined KPMG Bahrain. That firm was specialized in financial services. As many of you would know, Bahrain used to be called, and I think still is called, Financial Services Hub of Middle East. It was a great experience. I worked through various roles. I became manager there. And then there came a point where I got married. When my wife came to Bahrain, she was from IT background, and she found it difficult to find good opportunities in IT field. So I looked out, and I knew when I'm looking out that the best place to grow is where you have a base. And after evaluating, I thought I want good standard of living. I want to live with good people. And after quite a bit of research, I figured Canada is the place I want to go. But to go to Canada, you have to go through the whole PR process, and it takes time. So in the meantime, I got a good opportunity in Deloitte, Singapore. We went there in a couple of years. We got our Canadian PR. We moved to Canada without any job. This was the first time I was without a job. Search for opportunities, but thanks to all the hard work that has been put by previous generation of chartered accountancy profession, all the people, I got two good opportunities. One was with KPMG and other was with one of the large banks. I went with KPMG because it was a public accounting firm and it gave me good opportunities for personal and professional learning, I thought. As I joined the firm at a senior level, I felt I was a bit behind as I was ready for a managerial role at that time. But never mind, I just worked hard during that time, and I received the appreciation through my work. In fact, I would say I was one of the fastest promoted partner that I am today from the level I started. In this journey, I have learned a lot. My family has contributed a lot to me. And today, I'm thankful to all my friends, peers, colleagues that I'm well settled in Canada in my job and living happily with my wife Shalaka, my two kids Shriyan and Shreya, and my parents Gajanan Patkar and Shweta Patkar. Thank you.
Thank you, Sandeep. You know, your story about the vada pav was very fascinating. I come from the same part of India, so I can very easily relate. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, now we will move to the last introduction for today. Our current chair, Mr. Vivek Kapoor. To introduce Vivek, we have our past ICAI president, Mr. Nilesh Vikamsi.
Good afternoon, friends. I have been requested to introduce my very dear friend Vivek Kapoor. I know Vivek for almost a decade now, almost 8 to 10 years. He qualified in 2006. He was with EY in Mumbai. Then he shifted to Bahrain, where he joined KPMG and was in charge of the private equity transactions, M&A advisory, etc. From there, he joined Bahrain Islamic Bank in the credit risk management. I know him from the time he was very active in the Bahrain chapter of ICAI. During my term as a vice president, he was the chairman of the Bahrain chapter. A very, very active chairman, did tremendous number of programs there, fantastic annual conferences, and he had a good team, the whole managing committee team of the Bahrain chapter, the camaraderie, the way Vivek had built it up and the way, you know, different managing committee members were taking different responsibilities and the succession plan. I think he's done a tremendous job. And for me, most importantly, amongst my various endeavors as the ICAI president, he supported a lot as far as the CA Benevolent Fund is concerned. And you know, he gathered a lot of funds from Bahrain, from our members there, and we contributed back to the Benevolent Fund, which helps other needy CA members, some of whom have died early, the family needs money. So hats off to him. Again, on a personal front, Vivek took a huge risk, personal risk, when he decided to shift from a very, very well-established, place in Bahrain as in his job, in his career, and decided to move to Toronto. And only one reason, to look at the future of his children. Took that risk, and possibly one of the rare people who has got a good job in Toronto in Scotia Bank. He's in charge of the enterprise risk and the credit risk management. And not only that, a rare person who's got the opportunity to serve the institute, not only in Bahrain but even in Toronto. So his social service, his paying back to the profession continued. Not that he's done his stint in Bahrain and he stopped at that, became active in the Toronto chapter and has now been the chairman of the Toronto chapter also, apart from the Bahrain chapter. It's a rare thing. I don't think there are many cases like this where a person has headed two chapters of the ICAI, chapters abroad. So with this, I would want to, introduce Vivek Kapoor for you. Thank you.
Thank you, CA Nilesh Vikamsi. Vivek, would you like to share some of your thoughts and professional and personal journey?
Thank you, Ritesh, for this question, and I'm so grateful for this opportunity extended to me by the Toronto chapter of the ICAI. And I started off and to relate to Sandeep's story a little bit, where what was the turning point, and I started to become a doctor and then became a chartered accountant. And the reason was that when I try to get an admission to MBBS. At that time, my percentage was a little less, and my parents encouraged me to take up chartered accountancy. And with great support from my family at that time, which included my parents and my sister, and I cleared my chartered accountancy. And at the final level, my wife, who was then not my wife, encouraged me to appear for the both groups together, and then I made it there. I cleared my MBA in 2005, and then I started my career with a small investment banking boutique firm again in Mumbai, where you come from, where Sandeep comes from, and I would say that's a city of opportunities. Moving on, Ernst & Young picked me up from there to do investment banking with them, and then I landed in the same role with KPMG Bahrain. So this chapter has now a strong connect to Bahrain, where past chair, the current chair, and the photographer who's shooting us today is from Bahrain. And at Bahrain, during my tenure with KPMG, I came to know about the chapter, and I started to engage with them, and I felt a calling from there to serve the community and the profession. And I contested the elections and came into the committee, and then it's been over 10 years I have been associated with this role, and I am so grateful to the professionals and the community members who helped me become chairperson in Bahrain chapter of ICAI. And then when I moved to Canada in early 2019 with my family, and I already knew Bajiji when I was the chairman in Bahrain, and he was the chairman here in Toronto, and we used to communicate on and off on professional matters. And then when I came here, he got connected me to the chapters and all of you, and I started to engage with the chapter, and then eventually I joined the board and became the chairman. And in a nutshell, what I would like to say is the opportunities extended to me by professionals, by fellow colleagues, by seniors, by our mentors, whether that be in Canada, India or Bahrain, shaped up my career and my journey so well, and gave me the ability to extend help and service to newcomers in Canada. And as a chapter, and we'll talk about that in the other forthcoming questions about how we're trying to help our members who are coming into the country, help them give a solid platform, which probably the early generations who came, and I would appreciate Himanshu Bhai talking about when he came here so long ago, and there was no professional support available to our professionals, and so I think that's the objective. So once again, thank you to esteemed past chairs for putting the trust in me and giving me the baton to carry on this wonderful chapter and take it to a different level. And thank you, Ritesh, once again for the opportunity extended by Toronto chapter, and we look forward to talking more on this subject. Thanks.
Thank you, Vivek. Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes our introduction session. As you would have figured out by now, we have a very power-packed sessions of excellent speakers who have done wonderful in their professional and personal journeys. They are the ones who have laid the foundation, cornerstone of our profession in Canada. It is now up to us, the next generation, to take the chapter to the next level. Please hold on to your seats as we get more into details. So, Sandeep, what drives you in your professional life?
Thank you, Ritesh. It's a very interesting question. And as I'm talking with and to accountants mostly, I'm guessing you guys appreciate that money matters, and money drives a lot of people. But there are factors beyond money that I look for generally when I do any particular job or engagement. For me, learning comes first. What am I learning new? Or even if I'm repeating a job, how can I make that job better? I always work towards that. But as you all know, I work in public accounting practice, where public trust comes at very high priority. And when I do any job or any engagement, my first thing is fear of getting something wrong. Because if I get something wrong, it's not only my family which is going to suffer. Perhaps, if depending on the scale, I might lose my job. But it is also the person, the clients I'm helping with. Because every person I'm helping with is going to get their responses based on how I support them, what responses I give to them. So that's a big responsibility. It is also responsibility I share regarding my colleagues, my peers, because if an engagement goes, for example, if a job goes away, then the revenue goes down and the people working with me might lose their jobs. So it's a huge responsibility that keeps driving me all through.
Excellent, Sandeep. Thank you. I'll pass it along on the similar lines. Amit, would you also want to share your thoughts?
Being a senior executive, as I mentioned in the beginning in the introduction, right now I'm responsible for finance strategy of the bank. So obviously look at the big picture. But if I look back and look at my professional career, whether when I was manager or junior staff, I think at that time also I had this attitude of looking at big picture, like what contribution I'm making to the organization in a big scheme of thing, and that I think really helped me, succeed, and also it kept me motivating, and that part is still continuing. So I always look at same thing I do with my staff and with my people who I mentor. That always look at as to how your contribution is contributing to the big picture, and that really motivates a lot, and I think helps everybody, to be successful in his professional career. So that is my, success or secret to success.
Dweep, would you like to share your perspective, please?
Well, there are, I would say, three things that drive me in my professional life. The first thing would be meeting deadlines, especially because I'm in audit. You have really strict deadlines, so meeting deadlines, completing all the deliverables before due date, it really gives me a sense of achievement. The next is coaching others. Now, because I'm a manager, I have a team. I really feel good that I was able to teach something to someone and I was able to add value to their life in some way or the other. And the last thing is learning every day something new, whatever it may be it in the personal life, be it in my professional life. So yeah, those are the three things that drive me in my life.
Thank you, Deep. That was fantastic. Thank you, Sandeep, Amit, and Dweep. Moving on to Moin. What do you attribute your success to?
It's a very important question because, as I said in my introduction, when we came, we didn't know anyone, and we were interacting with a lot of negative people, and we were going through a lot of different emotions. Even asking question whether it's the right place for us, whether we should go back to where we came from. So one of the most important things is to be positive. Your attitude is the key. You have to have positive attitude and look at your association. They say if I know your 5 friends, I'll know where you're going in life. So be part of a very positive and good association. I'd rather have no friends than having negative friends. So very important is association. And third most important thing is curiosity. It's a very important skill to have at every level. At every level, you question yourself, ask yourself whether you want to be where you're going, right? So I think that's where I've been always finding success. Every time you strategize, one strategy fails, you find a different strategy. That fails, it's always a learning. So you continue to learn. As long as you're a student, you're learning, you're growing, because you're never finished. I think that's the secret, and I'm still learning, I'm still growing, and I'm still trying to contribute to the community wherever I can. I think that's the key.
Thanks, Moin. Amit, would you also like to share your thoughts on that topic, please?
I think as we were discussing, everybody I think would agree that persistently, if you put sincere effort and have patience, I think some of the panelists mentioned that, I think are the main attributes to the success. So persistency and perseverance, and then making a sincere effort consistently, I think would make somebody successful.
From Amit, Vivek, you are the current chair. Can you also share your perspective on that topic, please?
Well, thank you, Ritesh, and that's a very interesting question. And the dictionary meaning of success is the accomplishment of a aim or a goal. And there have been so many definitions, and success is a very wide term, and each individual defines it in their own way. But what I would personally attribute to my success, and I would define it into two separate parts: personal success and professional success. And success is a very relative term. One of the visionary leaders and Indian businessmen once came to, I heard his speech, and he says success is the delta. Delta means from where you started and where you are today, and that's the delta which is defined as success. And on my personal front, obviously my success is attributed to my family primarily, my parents, my sister and their family, my wife and my 2 children. And the support system which I receive, I'm very blessed to have that, and this attributed for me to qualify my CA, complete my MBA, and pursue my career opportunities and go to different places. I worked in 3 geographies. This is my 3rd work country, and my entire family has supported me throughout. When I moved out from my hometown in Baroda to Bombay to work, my parents were supportive. Then when I moved from Bombay to Bahrain after getting married, my wife was supportive and my parents were supportive. And then when we came to Canada, the entire family, the infrastructure was supportive, and that leads to your professional success. So because of the support I received from my family and from my peers and friends, I qualified as a professional, and due to that qualification, I was able to get opportunities in reputed organizations, Big Fours, and then banking sector, which led to my professional success. And my association with the chapter has been over a decade, and first in Bahrain and then in Canada. And so I am blessed in that sense, and I would attribute my professional success entirely to the ecosystem which is built around me, consisting of my family, friends, peers, colleagues, and the professionals, colleagues, and which kind of I would attribute my success to.
Thank you, Vivek, Moin, and Amit. That was wonderful. You summarized the communication skills, leadership, empathy, etc. that contribute to your success. Very much relevant in today's complex day and life of our professional careers. Moving on, Dweep, you are an inspiration to many of us. But can you also share some examples of someone who is an inspiration to you and someone who really admire?
Sure. Well, a father is someone who every child looks up to, and I'm no different. So I really admire my father. He's my inspiration. He's been a friend, philosopher, and guide at every stage of my life. Really look up to him, even in my professional career. Like, he's a CA, I followed his footsteps. I'm a CA, and I also went into auditing. And I really admire the way he, has done a lot of hard work and a lot of sacrifices he's made for the family. So yeah, I really look up to my father.
Thank you, Dweep. Amit, your perspective on that topic?
Yeah, interesting question. I mean, professionally, I've been inspired by many, great leaders I've worked with. As I mentioned, I've been fortunate to work with 5 international banks. So I've dealt with or worked with many successful senior leaders. But if I really want to sum it up, I think I would say my dad is my big inspiration. He's no more, he passed away 5 years ago. But if I look back and I can see that the success and the journey that he had still inspires me. He came from a humble background. He was born in village and he died in North America. And if I tell you, it will be a different story altogether. The way he moved up the ladder in a government job and raised his family, supported the extended family. And I think, again, the common denominator for all the things he has done are, again, same thing, the sincere effort, and then persistently and continuously working hard. Hard work pays off. So that's my big or main source of inspiration for me. Thank you for the question. Interesting.
Himanshu, how about you? You're the founding chair of the chapter. Any special thoughts on that topic?
I don't think I can identify one specific individual who is kind of an inspiration to me. Of course, my parents, they've encouraged me all my life to do well, to go into higher studies and all of that. My maternal grandparents and all of that. In addition to that, my colleagues that I've worked with over the years, many of them have been an inspiration to me. And a lot of it is also what I do professionally and personally in terms of the books that I read, the people that I meet. All of that has kind of contributed to the work that I do, to whatever I do. I mean, some of the books that I would kind of relate to and which kind of help us after coming here is like, I mean, I'm sure all of you have heard about it. One is How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. I mean, that's a good book if people have not read it. 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. That's another one. Autobiography of a Yogi, if you guys are interested on that side of things. I've also read things like the autobiographies of various leaders like Mandela, Mahatma Gandhi, all of those. So all of that has kind of contributed and given me the inspiration to do what I do today.
And I would ask Dr. Mantra as well a similar question, the same question.
My father has been inspiration to me, and as a matter of fact, my elder brother was bigger inspiration than my father. And he used to tell when I was doing my CA that, you know, everything can be accomplished. You can spare your time with your friends, but this time will never come back. So that was the kind of turning point, you know. I mean, I had to have the friends also, I had to have other things too, but then on the same time I had to have my CA also. So basically I will attribute, you know, the inspiration to my elder brother, who was very, you know, kind of strict with me, that when the studies time comes, he never let me go anywhere. So that was my inspiration.
Thank you, Dweep, Amit, Himanshu, and Dr. Mantra. That is so interesting. We look up to you and you look up to your respective role models, and more importantly, what qualities do you look up to? These also help shape up our personalities. Moving on to our next item. And this is for Baljit. What do you like doing most in your spare time? And what additional activities are you involved in addition to your regular professional career?
I wish I would have spare time. But whenever I get a spare time, I try to playing sports. And my age is gone to the sports. I watch cricket match now. Cricket is close to all Indians, we all know that. Other than that, now we are living in North America, so my son is more in sports. And he's like basketballs and hockey. So I now start learning about raptors and leaps. And in summer, I start doing quite golfing with my son now. Okay, he's teaching me how to do this. But you all know that basically, more other than the sports, I am very much involved in social activities. And I'm involved with multiple social organizations. And I always get a call from different organizations to mentor new students, new CAs, or even now the students coming in here, so there's problems. So I got mostly involved with those activities, and if I get some time off after this, I'd love to watch movies with my family, my son, my wife and my son.
Thanks. Amit, any thoughts on that topic, please?
Oh, that's a fully loaded question, because I don't know whether I have a spare time, because whatever spare time I have always end up committing somewhere. So outside my professional career, again, I do volunteer at various places. The Toronto chapter is, of course, close to my heart. I'm one of the founding member and past chair. But of course, I retired now. But I do volunteer at present with 3 big non-profit organizations. One is Canadian Helen Keller Center. The second is Indus Community Services. And the third is the Canadian Hindu Chamber of Commerce. And they all 3 have a different mandate. So I try to balance it and do that. But still, if I do get some time after my professional life and all the voluntary work I do, I enjoy, spending time with my 2 boys. I have 2 sons. One is 17, one is 11. They like biking. So I end up buying a bike, I think during the COVID time, 3 years ago. And that has become our favorite time pass when we have time.
Thanks, Amit. Vivek, how about you?
Well, that's an interesting question. Thank you again, Ritesh, for that one. And I think I would categorize 3 primary activities which I am engaged in. The first one being networking, which is my passion. The second one being traveling, and the third one being spending time with my family, including my wife and 2 kids, and playing with them. And my majority time is taken up by my voluntary role at the chapter and serving the profession, which includes networking and meeting new people to get new avenues to explore for our professional fraternity and support them in various endeavors and help them uplift the brand CA in the Canadian market, so that we are recognized as a qualified professional. Although my esteemed past chairs, including the founder chair, have put in great amount of hard work, and I by far am the youngest in the country as a professional. My esteemed colleagues, the past chair who are on the panel, and not to forget those who could not make it to the panel but they contributed significantly, has spent at least a decade or 2 decades, or some of them 3 decades, like the founder chairman is over 3 decades. But and they have put in significant efforts to build up the brand CA in this market, and I spend a lot of time supporting that endeavor and making that brand more visible. And other than that, traveling and spending time with my wife and 2 children is what I do in my spare time.
Thank you for your stories and your activities. So much you are involved in, not only your professional careers but also in the greater good, going above and beyond and doing the greater good of community bonding. These all really help us maintain a sound work-life balance, and like they say, a healthy body leads to a healthy mind. With that theme, I would like to get your thoughts about a stressful scenario in the past and how you handled it. Or can you tell me a time when you almost gave up, and how you felt about it, and then what you did differently instead of giving up, and how you overcame that situation? Veep, how about you take that question first?
Interesting question. There have always been a lot of stressful scenarios, be it personal life or professional life. I'll share one instance about my professional life. When I was in Grant Thornton in India, I had the opportunity to go to Israel for an audit assignment. So it was a time-bound assignment, 25 days. We had to complete the work. The language was a barrier because we had to give the deliverables in English and Hebrew. Obviously, we don't speak Hebrew, but most of the staff at the client's office were speaking Hebrew. Fortunately, we had our colleague from GT Israel who helped us with the translations, but even his English was not that great, so I had to spend sleepless nights, sometimes just do overtime back to back for like 4 or 5 days without getting sufficient sleep. Use the Google Translator to check his translations if they were correct. There was one point of time when I thought okay, I need to go back home. Like I was really feeling homesick, but I had my colleague as well, and we were like, okay, you know what, it's just a matter of few days, let's get this thing done. And we did manage to get it done, good quality output. And the result was that Grant Thornton was awarded another assignment from the same client. So I'm happy.
Excellent. Baljit, your thoughts on that topic?
This is about chapter. This is about when I was the chairman of the chapter. We had a member, and he started sending emails, messages to abusing our President of ICAI, Vice President of ICAI, Secretary of ICAI, sponsors, board, everybody. And we announced the gala, and gala was almost, I think, maybe 20 days left, 15-20 days left, and the people sitting beside here part of the team, and we had 11-member board. Interesting part in that scenario, because I have to keep my board close to me, so that I knew that situation is going to come, that we may be going to legally sued, chapter may be get legally sued, we may get legally sued. So I have to call up a situation that I have to bring the board on my all 11 members of the board together. So we used to have a call in the evening. So out of 11, maybe 8 members come and we decide something. 3 members come next morning when we send the minutes of the meeting. next morning another member say, oh, I have a different suggestion. So I have to call another meeting next day to incorporate his comments. In that way, I got like sick and tired of that. But that give the impression between the membership कि गाला नहीं होने वाला है, वहाँ पर दंगे होने वाले हैं. So everybody started moving out of the membership. Nobody registering for the members. Even our president stepped out, refused to come here. Even he announced to come and he stepped out. I'm not coming. Vice president said, no, I'm not coming. They just sent a central council member. Even I said to them, don't send it. And it's 18-20 days left for the gala. Only 15 members registered, I think. So even the board was not registered in that minute. Board members were not registered. That is the time I got stressed out. So I thought, let me call off the gala. Different views coming from the board member who were very close to my heart and helping me for all the way. Himanshu Bhai, Moin Bhai were there. So then my son came to me one night. I was stressed out, not able to sleep. My son came to me and said, Dad, this is for you. You are not 9 to 5. This is for you. Do it. And I know you can do it. I'm with you. I'm standing beside you. Anything happen, I will be with you. My board members, all board members, I would say now at that time, basically, everybody coming close to each other, say, no, let's do it. We split it that, I think, membership register between different board members, start calling everybody. We had a portfolio team separately calling to the member for registration. And I personally called 210 members to register. At the end, our gala was the highest number of the members and highest number of the guests. And what I did for that members, I put the security guard outside the office for the gala event. Everybody is coming with a photo. His photo is in his hand. Every security guard is watching whether this guy is not. So I create an example to the chapter along with my team, strong team, that if we want to do anything, we will doing it. And because of that, I think Moin Bhai went through the CPA 2 years, and it took me more than 2-3 years to go through the lot of issues by the members. But we did it, and we created a history in the chapter. With the help of all the board members, I would say I'm thankful to the board member for that. Everybody supported me, and membership also supported. So that is the situation. That chapter would have gone almost. Basically, if we would have given up at that time, our chapter would have died. Basically, maybe. I think so. That's the situation would have happened. We keep the chapter alive, and now the history. That's the history. That's the situation I had.
It's amazing how the two of you have come out of those difficult situations. Those would have been really testing times in your professional journeys, but you showed exemplary courage and the wisdom to stick to it. Perseverance, that's what I'm hearing out a lot. To stick to it and really not letting it go, not letting the situation dominate you, and working hard and thinking of out-of-the-box solutions to get the job done. Thank you. I'll moving on. Dr. Mantra, one thing in the past that you feel today that you should have done differently?
Yeah, of course, again, probably it may be a question coming later on, or maybe, with the fellow members, that, when we were trying to migrate to Canada, we should have studied a little bit more. Like, I'm talking about the accomplishing chartered accountancy here. If we know that, some preparation is required beforehand, probably we could have done it differently. So, like, for example, I'll give you, I would have done US CPA before I migrated. I would have got CA here over the counter. But, we missed that opportunity. We find it out that this opportunity is there, but that is only before immigration, not after immigration. So I think, I could have done, because I have an opportunity. And as a matter of fact, I've been in US, for some time. And I was a member of New York chapter in somewhere around 1999 and 2000. So, but again, the information and education was not there. So it was very, like a close information that time. So if, like I said, if we have that information, probably we would have been more benefit with that.
Right. Deep, any comments on that?
Well, when I look back upon my career choices, sometimes I feel I shouldn't have taken up CA as a profession. Back then I just went with the flow, today I think I should have chased my dream and maybe pursued my career as a professional car racing driver.
Thank you, Dweep, and thank you, Dr. Mantra. That was excellent. And hindsight 2020, that's what they say. I wouldn't look at any of this as mistakes or anything. We all learn from our own experiences, as we talked about in our earlier conversations. These are the experiences that really help us build our future careers. And I'm sure the members who are listening, they will also appreciate, just because we did something, a mistake that probably look at that time, but let's not dwell upon it too much. Use that as a building block and take it to the next level. My next question is for you, Sandeep. Can you tell about a time when you went above and beyond your job?
Most of us try to go above and beyond in many instances as we work through our jobs and careers. I would give you a couple of examples. One is on the delivery side, one is on the business side. Again, because I work in public practice, the audit deliverables come pretty high on my priorities. There was an instance when I was working with a bank and a CFO controller told me that they just realized they need to file audited financial statements. The time was too short, and we started the engagement, we committed to getting the deliverables out, but there came a point where we were on the last day of a weekend, and the first working day in the next week was the deliverable supposed to go out to a regulator. If the reportable doesn't go to the regulator, then the CFO, controller, and the company was going to get fined, and it was a significant penalty. The discussions were ongoing of delaying the deliverable itself. But I sat through with the team. We figured out that at least from the bank's perspective, the people can come in shifts over the weekend to help through the process. But because I was the in charge in that role, I said I need to be there. So I stretched from, I remember it was the Middle East, Friday, Saturday was off. I started Thursday morning, I stretched through Friday, Saturday, and Sunday we got through the file, cleared. I didn't get a chance to sleep, but the deliverables were driving my intensity to get things completed. When everybody gave up, I was continuing with my deliverable, my job, and that gave me a lot of self-belief. The second instance, I would say, is a bit unique situation, recently took place. As you go through your career, you get a lot of calls for interviews, job opportunities at time. Last year, I received a similar good opportunity. It was a senior executive position in one of the large banks in Canada. And I love what I do. I love public practicing job, but you never shut the doors. You try to explore. I went through the discussions. It was quite a lengthy discussions. And then when it came to a decision point, they really wanted me. And I wanted to find a reason to leave what I'm doing, but I couldn't. So then I said to them, if it is not working out, if I'm not able to join you, there is another way I can work with you. And I got a accounting consulting job for the firm. That way, now I'm working for them and I'm also working for the profession I'm looking for. And when we think about going beyond, it's not a situation specific, right? You have to be open-minded. When I went for interview, it was not because I wanted a business, but as the discussions went through, I kept my profession in my mind, the deliverable, like what the client is wanting in my mind. And that I would say is going beyond your normal way of thinking when you go for any, when you approach any job or engagement or even interviews. So those are a couple of instances, Ritesh. I'm hearing a lot of other people sort of informing about various of their instances and experiences. It's really great to know those.
Thanks, Sandeep. Amit, any thoughts on that same topic?
Well, that I have to really think through it because again, having worked in multiple organizations, I think situation had come multiple times when I had gone above and beyond. But if I compare, I think the best example or best experience that I would like to share with the audience and with you is my experience with Citco Bank of Canada. Again, it's a new bank that the Citco Bank or Citco Group wanted to set up in Canada. It's a group from Netherlands, and they were trying to establish a bank here. And they gave me a mandate to lead it, from the start. So filing an application with the Government of Canada, Finance Ministry, OSFI, and everything. And I remember they gave me full mandate of engaging lawyers and consultants and everybody. And of course, being new, I wanted to prove myself. But also, I think the way I handled the entire case of preparing an application for a new bank and establishing without much help with a consultant. We of course needed lawyers to do a few paperwork. That was, I think, above and beyond, because prior to my joining, the bank or the group had spent close to a couple of $1 million with consultants, and so that was really, I would say, an example. And that was, again, just to share more insight. It wasn't a difficult job. Again, coming from a banking background and having so much experience, all you had to do is basically understand the rules and regulation in Canada and adapt all the group policies and procedures according to Canadian context, which of course I could do myself with my experience. But that was really appreciated. I remember the global executive team had appreciated that effort. So that example does come to my mind when you talk about above and beyond.
Same question to you, Moin. Any special comments on that?
This is a very important question. I think this will come in everyone's career. When you are far stretched in your profession, in your personal life, in the community service. I recall many instances in the job, definitely. We have, I had more than 20 people always. I had to support, and people always are moving around. So I'm always there for them and mentoring them. And actually, I push them out. And my bosses tell me, why are you pushing your people out? You need them. I'm saying, if there is no growth, there's no happiness. The growth brings dollars in the pocket. That brings happiness to people. At the same time, it's not good for you, because you, again, are in the hunt for a new person. So my target is to get new people, train them, and churn them out. That's in my view, going above and beyond and helping and supporting people. Now, I was talking about stretching. When I became the chair, my wife was pregnant, and when she was in labor, Rajneesh called me and said, "Moin, you became the chair. The board has voted for you." Now I'm saying, people are saying, "Why don't you resign and step aside?" I said that this is also important. Family is important. Job is important. So everything has to go together. You have to balance. Balancing in life is very important, but at the same time, you need to know where you have to step aside, take time off. It's very important to slow down and to speed up. So we go above and beyond. Every time you ask the question, where do I stop? Where do I step back? When do I speed up, right? It's very important. That's another important milestone. We had kids, and then we still continue to contribute to the chapter, because chapter is the reason we got reciprocity. My fellow colleagues will talk about it. Chapter is the reason why we got recognition. Chapter is the reason and the foundation for our new fellow CAs. When we came in, we had absolutely nobody to fall back on. So I think it's very important to each one of us to asking ourselves the question, what we are giving back to the chapter, rather asking what chapter is giving back to me, right? Most of the times I see, this is the question asking me, what's in it for me? No, what are you giving back to the chapter? It's very important.
Thank you, Sandeep, Moin, and Amit on that. That is phenomenal. That is, very, very good comments. Thank you. Himanshu, I know you're the legendary founding member of a chapter. So it may look a bit of an analogy, but I would still ask you, could you tell us about the significant contributions made by you and your team during your tenure as the chair of the chapter?
Thanks, Ritesh. I think my tenure as the chair or I would say I should step back. We started this chapter in 2006. This was the first North American chapter of the Institute. So it was actually a very big deal at that point in time because no one had attempted to do that. We had about 2 or 3 attempts in the past to set up a chapter. But again, remember, this was pre-internet days where communication, you send a note to India, it takes you 3 months to get a response back. And so this was our attempt to start the first chapter, which I'm proud to say I was involved with setting it up. We had our first meeting, and I would say exactly about 13 years today. It was on 2nd of May 2006 when we had the first meeting at Deloitte, about 30 people, and I think 1 or 2 of them are here today, but 30 people, and we started this chapter. And since then, we've grown by leaps and bounds. I wouldn't say leaps and bounds, but still, we've grown significantly. We've done a lot of things, and the first important thing that we did was to engage with the ICAO at that time, the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Ontario. They were the premier body in Canada that we had to deal with. And I remember we had our first annual gala in June of that year, in 2007, which was on a Saturday. And Sunday morning at 10 o'clock, the CEO of ICAO, Brian Hunt at that time, came to meet us with the President of India at that time. Sunil Taladi was the President of the Institute, and Vivek Jain. And we talked about the MOU and to start the mutual recognition process. That took us close to 2 years, maybe 3 years, to get our first MRA approved between the two institutes. And the rest is history. I mean, we've had a lot of success since then. It has benefited our members a lot since then. Everyone before, like when I came, it was very interesting. When I went to the Institute to apply for a membership, I was told you were equivalent to a grade 12. Okay? I went to my area MP at that time and I said, what is this? You are advertising in the Indian CA magazine, inviting chartered accountants to come to Canada, and the Institute here is saying you're equivalent to grade 12. He was kind enough to write to the Institute at that time saying, what the hell is going on here? The Institute came back and said, okay, you know what? We'll recognize you, but you got to write we'll exempt you from the School of Accounting, but you got to write all the other exams. I said, you know what? I'm not doing that. I already spent a lot of time in India studying, so I didn't do CA at that point in time, and I did CMA because they were giving me a lot of exemptions at that point in time. Fast forward to 2013, and the institute came up with the CA Institute here came up with the experience-based evaluation program, and in there they invited 25 people to be part of the pilot. Guess what? I was one of them, and that is how I ended up getting my Canadian CA without ever writing a formal exam. So from being grade 12 to being given the Canadian CA designation. So that's how we have done as a chapter. I think we have evolved. We have impressed upon the Institute what value we bring to them and all of those things. And it's not just me alone. I mean, the team that we had at that time, that is all of us have contributed to that. Besides the mutual recognition, we set up the constitution of the chapter. We wrote the first constitution for the chapter. We had first successful elections to our managing committee, and we also incorporated our chapter as a non-profit organization in Ontario. So all of this was done in the first year of our formation.
Amit, I'll pass on the same question to you. I also know that you are also the founding member of that original team that based on which our chapter stood up. So anything that you would like to share when you were at the chapter, any significant contribution?
Okay, yes, while I was leading the chapter in 2014-15, I think the chapter was at the cusp, at the point of transformation. And the reason I say that, I'm sure all of us agree that before me, until me becoming chair, we were all from the founding group. So I was the last one to be the chair from that group. So the reason I say that it was quite a point of time in the chapter's history, because those who were involved from in the chapter since the beginning, they were retiring one by one, and the baton had to be passed on to other individuals or professionals who were not as involved from the beginning. So I think that handover and that transition, in my opinion, was very critical. It had some challenges, I'll be honest with you, because the people who were not involved in the beginning may not know the full history or full background, had different aspiration, different style of working. So that was a big thing. But in terms of actual achievement as such, I can say that international conference, every year CA in India, Institute in India, do hold an international conference. So I think that was the first time when I was invited from the chapter to represent and speak. And there were and then British Columbia chapter was to be opened at that same time, and they told me that I need to guide the chapter to help them to set up the initial setup, and that actually led in the next year the best chapter award for Toronto chapter. That was the first time Toronto chapter had got the award. So that 2014-15 time frame, I think was very critical in my opinion, and I think again with the help of team we did a lot. Thank you for that question.
Baljit ji, any thoughts on that topic?
So, when I joined the chapter, I was kind of not actively involved with the chapter in the past, as the previous or the other chair said. Basically, there are the transitioning period from the founding chairs to the new members coming up. So our time, that was our time in that new board came into the picture. And when I was a chair, I think I was the chair of the chairs. I think out of the 11, 9 are chairs. So out of 11 board members, 9 were the chairs. So I was the chair of the chairmen. So, but that's a blessing for me, because everybody is helping me, even though if they criticize me, but they are helping me other way. But what we did is basically my tenure is, as I mentioned earlier to you about that we keep the chapter alive. Secondly, we created the portfolio team. So prior to that, I was a vice chairman. We created that basically. So prior to that, there was no second tier of the leadership. So whoever want to become a board member, they have to come fresh. They don't know anything. Just like we came on the board, there's no experience of the chapter. So we created a portfolio team. So members will coming as a portfolio team member, working with the board, and we making in my tenure. We are like our board member was the chair of that portfolio team, and other members are working. Some of the chairmen who came on the board was part of the team after that. So that is something we created. Mentorship was the one always on the board, but we put the portfolio team, because board is always busy with the regular activities. So they have their own jobs to do it. But portfolio, we make the responsibilities of the portfolio members to be mentoring the new members, helping the new members. So mentoring got accelerated a little bit more. And when I gave up the chairmanship, I think all the new members from the portfolio team become part of the board. So that I think it's our vision, basically our past chairman's vision, to be bringing new blood into the chapter. That's few of them I can mention to you.
Sandeep, you are the immediate past chair of the chapter. Any comments on that?
Absolutely, Ritesh. And before I do that, I really want to thank the chapter, the people around me, to give me this opportunity to work for the chapter. It was an exciting journey, and I learned a lot. I'm learning a lot every day, and I'm happy that I'm able to contribute. My journey in the chapter, if I were to just start, it started with me reaching out to Rajnish Sapra, our past chairperson, who then introduced me to our panelist and our past chair, Baljit Kaliravna, who basically told me to start doing the job and don't worry about getting into board and whatnot. It will happen eventually. And that was so true. I think it is the intention that matters and your commitment to what you want to do. I became board chair in 2020. It was passed on from Veep Mehta to me. And that was not the perfect year to start, in a way. Because if you all remember, COVID pandemic hit us that year. The physical events, which was the way to go for us, were all closed down. And there were certain members, in fact, asking, what's the purpose of the chapter now that nothing is working? Very tricky situation for us. But then I had a I've been fortunate to work with 2 managing committees as I worked through 2 years who came up with a lot of ideas. And as I worked with the support of my team, the few initiatives that we took include the opportunity which was pushed upon us was going from physical events to virtual events. We grabbed it with both hands. In fact, in that phase, we had 70 or 80 hours worth of professional development hours, which speaks to the volume, right? We also appreciated people getting locked in their spaces. So what we created is sort of few programs that will help people connect and grow our networking and relationship at lot closer level. I'll give you an example. Greater Toronto area, where most of the membership lies, is very big geographical area. So what we said is we'll create certain professional circles, say Toronto downtown, Brampton, Mississauga, and that allowed people, our members, to connect at closer geographical level. Not only on professional fronts, but also on personal fronts. We also started mentorship program. Now, mentorship was always happening. We have great experiences with our members with informal mentorship, but I wanted to give it a shape. And when we started, in my 2 years of chairmanship, I think at least 70 to 80 people benefited from that mentorship program, which speaks a lot. And again, it's my idea, but my team helped me a lot through this process. The third one, I always felt that as we come through Indian Chartered Accountancy, one thing we can always improve on is communication. With the intention of helping our members to improve and work on communication skills, we also started with Toastmasters Club, which had its good and bad days, but in all, that the intention was to help our members to get better at communication presentation skills, which drive obviously the long-term careers of anybody. And the last one, I would say, the program I started was Talent Share program. Now, the first sponsor and supporter of this Talent Share program was KPMG, but the idea was never to only stuck with KPMG. The idea is to invite any corporate, any company to help our membership base get good opportunities. The main idea was, in this program, we as a chapter mentor the candidate who is getting interviewed at a particular organization and support that candidate for 6 months if we come to know that the candidate got selected, just to ensure the success of the candidate. That way, it's a win-win situation for the organization who is hiring from our talent base, as well as our talent base, our membership, to get good opportunities at the sponsoring organization. I would say that was the main sort of initiative that I've taken. Obviously, you can only do so many things when things are like physical events are closed. You can't meet in person. I'm happy that things have opened up now, and the activities, the initiatives I've started are taking shape. Now our current chair, Vivek Kapoor, has been taking a lot other initiatives as well, and he's trying to get our membership or brand up. So overall, it is helping our cause, and one day I think I will do very good in GTA as a brand.
Thank you, Himanshu, Amit, Baljit, Sandeep. Those are excellent comments. It's been 17 years. Next year, like Himanshu had mentioned to me just before this session, our baby, the chapter, would turn 18. So, it's amazing what a journey this chapter has taken, right from the struggles that Himanshu just described, including writing to ICAI India, dealing with the local bodies here, and setting up the chapter with 30 members, and then Amit kind of taking it forward, led by Baljit, and then Sandeep mentioning about some of the initiatives like the mentorship, the professional circles, the talent share programs. It's an amazing journey when we look at the past 17 years. I'm not saying it's been an easy, but there have been few ups and downs, but we've all stood together as a community. So Hats off to you guys. Thank you. Thank you. My next question, Himanshu, I'll stick with you for a while. How do you see the progress of the chapter and our fellow CAs from India in Canada?
Interesting. I think we've come, as I just said about how we went about setting up the chapter. I think over the last 17 years that we've formed this chapter now, we've come a long way from getting the MRA to what we are today. Our members initially had a lot of struggle getting jobs, getting accepted into the profession. Today, I've come across people who have come here and landed, and within a week they've found a job. I've come across people who are done very well. So I think as overall, we have done quite well from the time when I first came in 1989, when you don't have Canadian experience, you don't have a Canadian CA, you could speak good English, but you know what? We don't have the job for you. Yeah. So I think we've done very well, and I can see a lot of our members in good positions. I mean, they're with Big Fours, at senior levels, partners, all of that. I've seen members who are in executive positions and corporates out here. So all of it. So I think over the years we've done well.
Thanks. Baljit, any thoughts on that topic?
So yeah, it's a good question, Ritesh. So chapter has grown up, I think from 2006 to now. I think big changes in the chapter now. If you can see the chapter has done a lot of things for the members, like just like you talked about EVE examinations. I also become a CPA through the EVE, which is basically just night read-write assignments. And chapter has given a lot to the members. But if you see the members' point of view, basically when they came, I think they are getting the job within a couple of days. And I have seen the new member in the first job, they are negotiating their salaries. So this is very, I think this is something new. Basically, when we came to Canada, we have no power to negotiate. We were just like beggars are no choosers. But members are coming with well prepared now. In our time, I think we didn't come too much prepared also. So there's chapters, websites available. They are contacting our chapter even before they landing in here. They're creating their own network through our association. So members are getting a lot of benefits, and members have, I think, a lot of future in this country. Canadian CAs has a lot of future in this country. We are well recognized. Our profession is well recognized. Indian chapters are well recognized here. Everybody know who is Indian CA. So we have a great future here, everybody. Chapter is going through the new transformation, new leadership. You all guys are doing great. So we are looking forward for that.
Moin. Again, on the same topic, how do you see the progress of Indian CAs in Canada?
Well, I think Indian CAs have great prospects here because if you look at the demography, I think we come from the largest population in the demography wise which speaks English. And if English-speaking country, when you come to Canada, we're speaking English. Great prospects. Few things that we need to brush ourselves on is communication, which one of my colleagues spoke about. It's very important. One of the things we don't learn in our schools and colleges when we grow up is how to present ourselves. We have all the skills and knowledge, but if we learn that soft skills, our market opens up tremendously. And the chapter has done a great job in having the Toastmasters session, for example, for communication skills, having networking sessions, having mentorship sessions. I think we've gone leaps and bounds since 2007 when the chapter was formed. Incredible growth, and we've got great opportunities for Indian fellow CAs, because a lot of our Indian CAs are in senior executive positions who appreciate and acknowledge and can understand the value they bring to the table. Right? So I'm seeing great prospects for Indian CAs.
Thank you, Himanshu, Baljit, and Moin. And yes, like again, extending my previous comment when we were talking about the journey of the chapter, similarly is the story of the members as well, from how Indian CAs were viewed 10, 15, 20 years ago, and how thanks to efforts by leaders like you, and obviously the community, the profession as such has done so much well over the past few years. Really, we are now being seen more as partners and really qualified chartered accountants who can contribute. So more exciting times to follow for us. Amit, my next one is for you. What would you like to see as a future version of the chapter?
This is again a long question, but I'll try to summarize it. As I was mentioning in my previous remarks, that the chapter has gone through a lot of phases. Again, in my personal opinion, I am not sure how other people see it, but I see it that the initial phase when I was the chair, as I mentioned, most of the members in the committee were from the founding group, so there was a different vision to establish the chapter in Toronto, in GTA, and make ourselves known to people. People were not aware of it. Right? A lot of people. Second phase, in my opinion, which is I think is going on right now, is basically giving back to the profession, giving value back to the professional, and the way newcomers are coming, and immigration policy in Canada is very liberal. The way things are happening, a lot of candidates and professional need that guidance. So that is going on right now. But if I look at the future, in my opinion, I think the future will be very different, and I'm sure we will get there. And that future, in my opinion, will have multiple segments of the chapter. So there has to be a segment for newcomers because they will remain, our main source of membership and mentorship. Then also, I think we will have to have another wing or another, part of it that should focus on the senior established individuals who've been in Canada for a long time. Because as I was hearing from other chairs, the people from the chapter do move away when they kind of settle down in Canada, and they may not be seeing that much value. But so I think that would be, in my opinion, would be the future of the chapter, that where the senior executives also see value in it, and they come back and they get connected with the chapter again.
Sandeep, can you also share some of the thoughts on that topic, please?
Well, we are already working on what we want from the chapter, and although I'm in the managing committee, even after I leave the managing committee, I'll continue contributing to the cause. One thing I always dreamed of is all our members, CA members from India, become part of the chapter. We have, I think some of other people have talked about our membership base, Indian CA membership base in GTA. We have about 4,000 plus members. My dream is at least get 30 to 40% of those Indian CAs as a member of our chapter. And it's not only about getting them member of our chapter, but it helps the community as a whole to reflect on its brand, the negotiations that we can have with not only corporate, but on other fronts like getting reciprocities, MOUs with CPA Canada, and other branding helps. It opens corporates towards giving more opportunity to our members. So there are a lot of benefits to it, and I hope one day people realize the potential we have as a single united group, and that's where I want the chapter to go.
That question cannot be complete without asking to our current chair, Vivek. How do you see the future version of a chapter?
Well, this is a very, very broad question and very close to my heart. And currently, as the chairman of the Toronto chapter of ICAI, and I again thank my esteemed past chairpersons and my colleagues on the team, obviously including yourselves, to put faith in me, to give me the baton and kind of lead the organization in that sense. And I would like to see the brand CA being the most powerful brand in the market. To do that, there are a lot of aspects which we are currently working on, including the one the team started last year called the North American Talent Summit, which we showcase to the market that the power of the brand CA and what is the quality we get to the table and where our professional members are placed, including being CFO and CEOs of banks and institutions, and a couple of our past chairmen are already CEO, CFO and executive positions, as the audience have heard them. So that's in a nutshell what I want to see is kind of being the most powerful brand in all aspects, whether that be technical, whether that be in terms of integrity, whether that be in terms of honesty, quality of work, and quality advice to clients, because as we know that Canadian market is a highly immigrant market, which means we get people not only from India but from all parts of the world. And when people come in, they need advice, especially on money matters, which includes anything from taxation to investments to finance to funding their companies, getting loans on their books, etc., to further their cause in the country and the purpose in the country. And they need quality professionals who advise them the right thing, and they work within the professional ethical framework. And I think by far the Indian CA brand has established itself, and to take it from that level to a level where we recognize as the most powerful and the most reliable brand in terms of finance, accounting, investment world is something which I foresee as a vision for the chapter. And it takes a lot of hard work, as we all know. And but yeah, we are ready to put that in to achieve that objective.
Excellent points, Vivek. You very aptly described how you foresee our chapters and the things that you are planning to do. We are really fortunate that our leaders like Himanshu, Baljit, Amit, Moin, Sandeep have built such a solid foundation, and now the baton is on leaders like you and other future leaders who are going to take the chapter to the next level. Himanshu, can you talk about some of the challenges for our profession in general, and what would be your advice to overcome those challenges?
I think from a challenges perspective, we all have to understand that technology today is playing a big role in whatever we do, whether it's our profession or anything else that we have. And that is affecting our profession quite a bit. Ram's not here today, but I know starting out in my career as an auditor back in India, and if you were there, you would remember Kamal Gupta's contemporary audit book. In there, he talks about the first initiative of audit, which was during the Ramayana days when Bharat went to see Ram and asked him how he was doing. And that was the first cornerstone of how auditing kind of started. And that's mentioned in that book. And come to today, and you look at all the bots that we have, all the different technologies that we use to do audit. Audit has changed significantly over the years, okay? And I think it's going to keep changing. The role that we see as accountants, I don't think we are no longer going to be accountants. We'll be more like business advisors or professionals that will help business grow. We're not going to be the backroom guys who will just look at the numbers and say what we need to do.
Dr. Mantra, your thoughts on the same topic about challenges for our profession and our new members?
Okay, yeah, sure. Like I mentioned in the very first question, that we should have a homework. We should have primarily, we know what we are going to expect and how to get rid of that, or how we can overcome those obstacles. So for that, for that homework, chapter is a good source for that. Otherwise, now the information is pretty available on the internet and those things. And everybody is mentioning about soft skills, that should be there. Like, for example, in my case, I have to learn everything from my juniors. When I left India, I think Excel or something was coming there. There was no QuickBooks there. So I learned everything of my own and with the help of my junior. So that thing, our members should be ready for that. These are the very, critical things here. Even if you are coming in any stage, any age of your life here, these things are required. So please, make your homework, prepare yourself.
Deep, I would also ask you the same question. How do you see the challenges and how can we overcome that?
I would like to talk about newcomers, new Indian CAs coming to Canada, and especially people who are pursuing the CPA. First of all, what I went through, I know everybody has to go through that. So the challenges initially that we face is public speaking and presentation skills. And like the other participants also mentioned, communication skills. So before we had signed the MOU, we had to go through the capstones. So capstone 1, capstone 2, part of the CPA journey. I was fortunate to go through those because those really helped me in overcoming my weakness of public speaking, because like back home I was a really shy person. I really didn't go on stage, but going through the CPA process, going through the capstones, it really helped me overcome my weakness, and now I'm here. I can easily talk to a large audience freely and with full confidence. So I feel people should, if not at least go through capstone 1 just to get that experience, get that skills. And I think also Moin mentioned earlier, getting soft skills is something which Indian CAs really have to work on.
Thank you, Himanshu, Dr. Mantra, and Dweep. And yes, you rightly said, a bit more education and bit more development in the core skills. We all have technical skills, like Dr. Mantra rightly explained. 2 + 2 is equal to 4, either in India or in Canada. That doesn't change. The fundamentals don't change. But some of the softer skills, like communication skills, some of the more education and some more knowledge about some things, it would really help our members and our profession to grow further. Moving on to the next topic, or rather I would like to digress a bit before we come back. And Himanshu, this one is for you. You are the founding member and the founding chair. Ontario, and mostly in the Greater Toronto area, has roughly about 4,000 chartered accountants from India. However, our membership base has historically been around the 300-350 mark. What do you feel keeps the Indian CAs away from the chapter activities?
That's an interesting question, as some of my colleagues have said. You know what? When you compare North America to, say, Middle East or Bahrain or anywhere else, there's a different dynamic. In the Middle East, there is no other professional organization. There's no CA Institute or anything like that. In Canada or in North America, we have the local CA Institutes. Okay, so there is always that competing factor out there. Our members, you know what, you cannot force anyone to join the chapter. Okay, our members have to feel the value that they get out of the chapter, and that will only come if they recognize, if they understand, and if we who are members kind of spread that message out. Because there is no burning desire. Why would I want to join a chapter? I mean, I've been there from day one, and I've seen the chapter grown. But many times, I mean, I sit back and I say, you know what, this is a great thing for us to do, because today it is giving people the opportunity to get connected with the professionals that have been here before them. Okay, but they come in, they're there for a year, 2 years, and they're gone. I mean, if you do the graph of the people who have been there from day one, you will find that probably less than 5% of the people who were there in the first year are there today. That is the challenge, because they don't seem to appreciate the value that the chapter brings to them. For them, it's getting their first job, and that's it, and then they're gone.
Baljit, your thoughts on that?
This is very interesting question. It's very tough questions to answer, because we are going through this pain from since 2006, and our founder chairman and other chairman who came on the board has struggled to answer this question. I think so. Everybody has their own situation. Everybody has their own personal situation. So it's very hard to say why the members are steering out of the chapter. But what I see mostly from here is just like mentioned by Himanshu Bhai. There is a lot of other organizations they got involved with. There are so many social activities they got involved with, and CP hours, if they want to see that, they get CP hours through different organizations, through online and everything. So they're not suffering for that. And interesting part basically is, another thing I think what's a sad part basically is member coming in the board, getting benefit out of the chapter and then leaving the chapter their own. So it's very difficult to find out, but I see some members notice basically they may be thinking this is joining a chapter maybe obligation on them, so they may need to come and spend time more time with chapters, so they take the time from their own life and work life. But I think we need to go back and, as mentioned by other speakers, that we need to go back and think about what we can do to attract the members. We tried our lot of alternates, financial assistance program, giving free membership. But I think it's basically like members are getting benefit out of us, and then finding other alternate ways to keep their life easy. Otherwise, chapter is doing great. The chapter has changed the life of the senior members, like going through the program of the E program, they become a CA without writing exam. They get MRA, which is basically now CA. I think they need to write only one exam, and that exam they become CPAs here. When we came here, there is no recognition for that. I think members should appreciate that, respect that, and they are getting it. They are using this opportunity. It's not basically members. There is chapter members are not involved with chapter, but they are not away from the chapter because they are getting benefit out of that. They even when from 2015 to 2018, when there is no MRA, and there was the CPA Canada kept the MRA alive just because of the chapter. Even British Columbia has no MRA. British Columbia CAs were not able to write the exam. Only the Toronto chapter were able to. Toronto Canadian members use the MRA, but it didn't become the member. So it's very hard to understand. Like there is a value of the chapter up front, that British Columbia chapter members are not getting a benefit, and we as Toronto are getting benefits. They're just a transparent benefit of that. Still, they are not becoming a member. To do that, we reach out to the ICAI, asking them to make it mandatory for the members to become, when they write a CPA exam, CE exam, when they ask for your certificate of good understanding, at least you ask them to become a Toronto chapter member. I didn't get a support. I lobbied, when I was a chairman, I lobbied with other chairmen. Even Vivek was chairman of the Bahrain. We sent a letter to Central Council. Central Council member went discuss the thing, but they say, no, we cannot give the power to chapter. So it's very hard to answer this question like other speakers, but I would say we have to keep working hard, keep attracting members, keep trying to show them the more and more benefits. And one day we will reach a target of which we say is 40% of the total membership, and we hope for that.
Dr. Mantra, how about you? Any comments on that topic, please?
I think the foremost reason is that members, they have moved out from GTA. And that is that's not the only one reason, but that is the biggest and important reason. And what they think that they are not able to associate with the chapter, with the activities, they are not able to join, in physical. So I think that is the biggest obstacle right now. Otherwise, like my fellow members told, the people, they took the opportunity through the chapter. They have all the information through chapter. So when, this will be hard to say whether they use the chapter or they did not use the chapter. But yeah, chapter gives them immense opportunities. Immense opportunity in the sense of education, in the sense of networking, in the sense of job opportunities. So they moved on with that, but I think the basic reason here is that they are probably maybe out of GTA. So that's what I personally feel. But still people, they are trying to associate them, even they are out of GTA. But I appreciate, I have been volunteering accounting part of the chapter since 2015 when Baljit became chairman. So, ever since I had seen the progression of the people and progression of the members, and still I see the members, they are still outside, but still associated with us. So, I would recommend that, people should be staying with us.
Moin, coming to you on the same topic, why do you feel the chapter membership has been limited around the 300-350 mark?
It's a very important question, and when we went through 5-6 years of membership of the chapter, we saw we hit that 300 mark because we used to have a target in 2012, 2013 to hit 200, 250, 300. We hit that mark. And we knew even at that time that the size and scale of our members was much higher. Why members are not coming back? I think we have to go back on the drawing board and ask ourselves a question as to what do our members want, what is a member's demography, what are we doing right, what do we need to do more, which are the members who are coming in, getting the CPA designations, and then they're busy in their life. How do we bring them back? Whether they're getting their hours, professional development hours to other sources, and why do they perceive that the chapter from where they've earned so much, they don't need to associate. So we have to ask these questions and perhaps do an outreach program, because there's no perfect answer, but we have to make an effort, because as Sandeep, I believe, had mentioned, it's 30 to 40%. We're looking at 1,000, 1,200 members should be part of the chapter if you have a 4,000 member base across GTA, right? So we have to. I don't have a perfect answer, but we have to put strategy in place, different strategies in place to grow the numbers. We have to have past chairs collectively reach out with the list of members who were past members, find out what they need. Perhaps the messages that are going out there may not be conducive to why they're with us. So we may need to look at different options as to say, do I need to do more surveys? Do I need to do membership drive? Do I need to see where members are residing in GTA? Our programs are more on the west side, not in the downtown or east side. So, and with the changing scenario after COVID, where it's more hybrid or more work from home situations, where members don't want to travel. So we have to get back to the drawing board and do more strategy session to see how we increase the membership. So I think that's my answer, but this may not be a perfect answer you're looking for, but I think we need to go back and reconsider what do our members need, because we may think as board and the current membership that this might be the perfect thing for the member base, but they may be in different phase in their life. So different members will need different needs. And some of the members are dropping off maybe in their different phase in their life. So that could be my long answer or short answer, you may say.
Thank you, Manshu, Dr. Mantra, Baljit, and Moin for that feedback and thoughts. You know, you very rightly pointed out like some of the areas that we need to relook at the strategic way how we attract new members. Although at a chapter we feel we are doing a lot of professional development activities. The mentorship program is an excellent one, professional circles, a lot of community building. But at the same time, we also need to kind of have a 360-degree view as well as a feedback loop at what our members want and why do they feel a little bit disconnected maybe once they are excited and once they join the member when they are newly coming into the country, but maybe once they get the membership, once they have a job, once they are relatively settled in the country, there is slight disorientation and the slight disconnection with the chapter. So maybe that's an area that we can look at. At the same time, Baljit, I also appreciate your answer, or rather comments about, I wouldn't say an answer, I would also appreciate your comments about, you also have to look at, like the chapter does so many things. Instead of looking at, oh, what do I get out of the chapter, look at the other way. What can I do to the chapter? How can I make the chapters better and indirectly help my CA community, my fellow community in the country better? It's going back to what Abraham Lincoln had said. Don't think what the country gives you, think what you can do for the country. So thank you for the feedback, and I can assure you at the chapter committee level, we'll definitely take your feedback. Vivek, this one is unique for you. You have been through the journey and seen as the chairperson in Bahrain. and for long, and you've also been the chairman in Toronto. What do you see the primary differences? And do you think the dreams, objectives of the founders are being slowly but surely fulfilled? Or do you think there is any advice for the current or future members? Or are we a little bit drifted away from the original vision and idea? Your thoughts, please, Vivek.
Well, Ritesh, thank you for that one, and that's a very interesting one because I have seen a different set of people and their way of working, and I would say I am really blessed because till date I am the only chartered accountant in the ICAI banner who's been heading 2 international chapters. So that's really a great blessing, and I don't know what God has chosen for me and why I am the chosen one to serve the profession at large. But what I would like to say is that I would answer this in 2 separate. One is the commonalities and another is the differences, which I see in the 2 organizations, and how we can marry the best practices from both the places to achieve the vision which I just mentioned is the most powerful brand, and we have the ability and the capability. And when I say that conviction and experience, because the brand CA across the globe, our members are placed in all the organizations at various levels, and when we collect that network, and some of my colleagues on the panel mentioned about network, which is most important in this world. And when we collect all those people in that network and put the force, no force can stop us. But the problem or the obstacle which I have experienced is that the ability to collect those network and put that in a channelized energy. Now, the commonalities which I see when I was serving the Bahrain chapter of ICAI as the chairman, and then I'm serving the Toronto chapter of ICAI as the chairman, is the vision of the past chairman, their team members and the members at large is that they want to be seen as a credible professional, as a professional who's respected, honored and known for integrity and working with a professional ethical framework. And that is common everywhere. I have visited over 12 countries, met over 12 chapters and a couple of branches in India, and I see that commonality everywhere. And the way of achieving that is different based on the infrastructure available in each country or area, but then I see that commonality. But the differences which I see is, and I will relate that specifically to my experience in Bahrain because I know that chapter very closely, and Toronto chapter which I know very closely, obviously. And the difference I see is the ability of the past chairman and the past team members and the seniors, I would say for that matter, to come together in one forum and kind of put their ideas, thoughts, efforts, contacts, to make one kind of an ecosystem, I would say, which will help further the cause at a much greater pace, and we have the ability. So if the audience has listened to our past chairpersons on the panel and those who are not able to make it are at very senior positions, all of them well placed, well networked. Now, we lack the ability, and I am sorry to say, we lack the ability to get all that into one ecosystem framework where we can channelize the energy and to achieve that objective, which everybody wants, right? If the brand CA is the most powerful brand, if I were to say, everybody will benefit in that fraternity. But where are the efforts to channelize those energies and get all that in a framework where we push that through at a much faster pace than we are currently doing? So I feel that is lacking in this part of the world, and primarily I see the reason, because I can relate the lifestyle, is because paucity of time. Time is a very, very critical element in this part of the world given the nature of the lifestyle. Because when I spent my time in Bahrain, we had considerable amount of spare time on hand, I would say, because distance is small, the country is small, and the network is much deeper in terms of that, and people have the passion to put their spare time and efforts into the furtherance of the cause. So I think that's my take on it, given my very close experience with Bahrain chapter and the Toronto chapter of ICAI.
Right. You rightly captured it, Vivek. I think it's correct. Like, I think our founding members, be it in India, Canada or the chapter founding members in Canada, Bahrain, or even for that matter, any regional circles back home in India, the founding members, the vision was on the similar lines. At the 60,000 feet, we had the similar vision. Operational levels, depending on the culture and the local laws and the local economic environment and personal capacities, those are different. So the means would be different, the ways would be different. However, we all are striving to achieve at the end goal, the same end goal, that is benefit of the community, improve the brand CA, and give back to the community. Thank you, Vivek. So as we come to the closure of the session, what advice would you give to our members to establish and progress in their careers? This question, I would say it's a question for all of you, the past chair as well, Vivek, the current chair. So as a final advice, I would like to hear all of your thoughts. We can start with Himanshu.
You know what? A lot of my colleagues here have already spoken about it. I'm not going to dwell on all of that again, but what I would say is three things. Be confident, believe in yourself, and work hard. Success will come to you. As they say, success favors the brave. And one final thing that I would add is, and this is what I recommend to everyone who works with me in my office, is I have this book called Who Moved My Cheese? I recommend that book to all of our members because there's a lot of difference between where you are in India and when you come to Canada. There are a lot of cultural differences. There are a lot of differences in how businesses operate in India versus how they operate in Canada. And the only thing in all of this, people have to understand that there's change. When they came from India to here, there was a change, and constantly there will be the change. And as oxymoron as it may sound, but change is the only constant, and people need to understand that and work on that. And that is why I really strongly recommend the book, Who Moved My Cheese?
Thank you. Amit.
Ritesh, again, I know all questions are very good. I don't know how did you come up with this, but my answer probably would be around the same remarks that I shared earlier. As my journey or my insight for my success is like, persistently putting in sincere effort and having, patience and perseverance. Because I feel that, being in a new country, because everybody who comes from India or even for that matter any other country, they are well established, they leave everything there and come here. So obviously there is a bit of a shock and there is a little bit of a different setup. But I think if they have in these three ingredients, they would definitely succeed professionally. And I'm a very big fan of connecting people with socially also. So I always advise people that if you can connect with others socially in terms of family and background and that way, that will help. Because at the end of the day, success in career is important, but I think maintaining the work-life balance that Canada offers is also important. So for that reason, I think it's important that you connect with individuals and groups and associations that can, motivate you and encourage you and keep you engaged socially. That's my That's my experience I can share with you.
Moin.
First of all, I would urge all our members to be part of the chapter. Take the membership, because if they're not part of the chapter, they have no idea what they're missing out. And then I would say, get a good mentor or a guide, because at every stage in life you need a mentor to progress. It's very important that you get a mentor. And then you now these days all hiring is happening through LinkedIn. Get your profile on LinkedIn updated, your picture updated. Be very clear. Make sure it's crisp. Someone has reviewed it. Make sure it's properly drafted, because I've seen people submit a resume. If I'm interviewing someone, first thing I'm doing, and I'm going to social media, I'm looking at the person. Not only on LinkedIn, I also go on the Facebook page sometimes, because you can find, today we'll be in a public bathroom. You need to make sure that your public profile is clear. Have an elevator pitch. If I'm setting up a networking session with you, Ritesh, I'm saying you're a CEO, CFO, I want to have a half an hour coffee chat with you. What am I going to give you as a profile? And what is my 30-second elevator pitch with you for you to give me that 30 minutes of coffee time, right? I'm doing an interest interview. networking is very important, and chapter provides that opportunity because we've got so many senior executives within the chapter itself where you can network and ask all the key questions you need to ask. And then have your goals very clearly written down, what you really want to do. You're an Indian CA. Another thing I've seen in our membership is people undermine themselves. They think they're not good enough. Don't do that. Be happy, be positive, have a positive attitude, and know that you're one of the best because if you've passed Indian CA, you're actually above average. So this is my quick advice, and anyone can reach me if they want to have a quick chat, coffee chat or whatever. We've got many past chairs who will be really open to have a dialogue, and I wish all the very success and good luck to all our members.
Baljit, your thoughts on it?
It's a very good question. It's very interesting questions to answer because I wish I would have got that advice before I came to Canada, because I didn't know anything before I came to Canada. So I always advise them to create a networking even before you came to Canada. We have so many social medias there these days. Our chapter also has a LinkedIn, the chapter has a Facebook. They can reach out to the member. And communication is the one that everybody speaks about that. We have a different way of speaking in India, especially North India. There is no too much English speaking area these days. English is improving, but and also they have to be confident and positive. Most what I did in my life when I came to Canada is I stay out of the negativity. Stay out of negativity. Everybody in this country is successful. Whoever come, whatever they did, the history of Canada is everybody is successful. Nobody is failure in this country. Whoever come is successful. So if you see that angle, keep that angle in mind, one day you're going to be successful. You are getting job right away. Due to our chapter and our senior executives, chartered accountants, that our name is in the market. If you go, I'm Indian CA, that means you are accountant. So stay confident, stay positive, and you will be successful here, just like us.
Dweep, your comments.
Well, I would say 3 things. One, you're coming to Canada, be patient. It's not easy to get a job within just a few days or few weeks of landing. I got my first job in 4 months after landing. So I would say patience is actually the key to success in Canada. Second, for aspiring CPAs, for Indian CAs, I would say CPA is not difficult, it's different. And that's what I've learned when I was studying for CPA. And third would be, keep networking, keep growing your professional network, and keep building more connections.
Dr. Mantra, how about you?
Okay, that's also an interesting question, but this is a repetitive answer from me, that they should be doing their homework. They should be well prepared with the technology, soft skills and everything. And honestly, debit and credits all over the world is same. 2 + 2 is equal to 4. I know, in the beginning we had an issue that, credit experience. You don't have credit experience. In Canada, there is no 2 + 2 is equal to 5. There's still 2 + 2 is equal to 4. Debits and credits are same. So, my advice that only thing, and okay, one more thing, I would not claim that I'm a very religious, but I'll associate this thing with the religious thing. They should be focused and they should have a total submission to the God. And when you have this thing, probably you will getting the things whatever you are feeling, whatever you are deserving, and whatever you are asking for. So Almighty will be always there, and never forget that He is not looking at you. Almighty is looking at you. But you will be getting whatever you are deserving, and whatever you are asking for, the total submission. Total submission is the more vital, I would say, phrase here.
Sandeep.
It's a very unique question, and it's a very interesting question, Ritesh. There is obviously a career aspect to everybody's life. As I come to Canada, for newcomers at least, one advice I would say is figure out what you want to do. Because if you are not liking the job you are going to do, you will not be as successful as you would otherwise be. Figure out what learning the job is going to give you. Is it the area you're liking? Is it going to give you networking opportunities? Do you want networking opportunities? What you want to learn? Where you want to grow? As you progress through your career, you will realize that there are various phases of life. When I came, I'll give you an example. When I came, I was married, but we didn't have kids. So for us, it was easier to put a lot more efforts towards job at that time. But life goes through various phases, and you'll have to allocate your time and intensity to what you do at various phases of life to various things. You'll have to simply prioritize. So figure out your phase of journey. Figure out where you want to put more attention to so that there is nothing to complain after. That's my word of advice.
And finally, Vivek.
Well, I would focus, so thank you again Ritesh for that interesting question, and as said earlier, I am by far the youngest in the profession and in the country, being 4 years in this country, and I think I have experienced that recently and very closely, and I would relate this more to our members and professionals who come into this country leaving everything behind in their country or home country, wherever they are coming from. And I think the most important thing is the mindset. And as past chairman Dr. Raj Mantra mentioned about positive mindset, and a couple of other panelists including CA Baljeet Kaliramna mentioned about stay away from negative people, including my colleague Moin on the panel said that. So mindset is very important, because most of the times the problem happens, I have seen that people start comparing life. People start comparing, I was back in India, I had driver, I had maid, I had cook, I didn't have to do anything, and here I am the maid, I am the driver, I am the cook, right? So, and that leads, that thought process in the mind leads to a vicious circle, which kind of does not let you put your full potential into achieving the main objectives when you come to a new country like Canada. So I think apart from mindset, the other most important thing, and stressed by my other panelists on the panel, is network. And network is your net worth, as somebody has said, and it's very true. And today I am blessed, because when I came into this country, I had a network of one of the past chairmen, CA Baljeet Kaliramna, where he encouraged me to stay positive and stay motivated, and I found my feet eventually in the country. And it's very important to have positive people around you, the right network, and the right network gives you the opportunity to kind of be on the right table at the right time, in the right place, which lets you showcase your abilities to the hiring manager or organization which might be a good employer for you. And that is the only chance you need. And a qualified professional, especially our members, have the ability to crack the interview most of the times. I would say 95% of that I have seen with my experience, that people are able to make it. And as somebody said on the panel, Canada is a country where people come and everybody becomes successful. But I think the mindset is very important. Patience is a virtue. One of the leaders in the profession has told me, patience is a virtue, they said, and which is very important. And in my discussions, in my mentorship discussions with some senior executives, I was told, don't run a 100-meter race, run a marathon. And for a marathon, you go slow, you go steady, and you stay focused, and you can win the marathon. So I think, to summarize my answer, positive mindset, staying with positive people, and networking with the right people, and being focused in your efforts are the 4 key elements where incoming members or members inside the country can achieve their desired results by pursuing these qualities.
Thank you all. This has been amazing. We really hope all our viewers find this very helpful and grow in their future professional careers. Thank you very much to all our panel members for taking time, and also thank you to our viewers. Have a great rest of the day. Thank you.